Hello YouTube, I just wanted to do another update kind of to the Mustang wire tuck tip video that I did. So I'm going to go over something here that I didn't include because I didn't get to that point last time. I'm talking about my brake lines. As you can see, the brake booster, master cylinder, proportioning valve, and all the lines are run. And pretty much this is all the factory brake line. It was all in good enough shape. All the lines were still good, and all the fittings and stuff were still good. They still spun, and so I decided to reuse them all. Just cleaned them up, repaint them, recoat them, and everything. But as you can see, the brake lines are nowhere to be found except for right here. That's because I ran all the brake line under that metal tab there, and it's running across next to my engine and factory wiring harness. Definitely an appearance upgrade. It was a little tough just because the factory line, since it goes over, and you can see where the bolt was that that held the brake lines in place. So you will have to do some bending to get to all work, but as you can see, once you take the time to do all that, it hides under there nicely and looks like a nice fresh factory tucked brake line. So you will have plenty of extra line to run down to the passenger side brake hose, the line that runs up to the rear brake line here. That one has plenty enough space here. So that's really the only thing you'll see at the top is this line right here. Everything else is hidden, and so you come down, and then here's where the factory locations and stuff are. As you can see, I mounted my coil and everything. I'm very pleased with how that turned out. Very clean looking location to mount everything. I usually use the factory location to mount the proportioning valve. Everything else, as you can see, plenty of space here. It's not touching anything. Using the factory hole to mount the proportioning valve. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to go over. You will have to do some bending on your factory brake lines. If I were to do this over again, I would probably just start with fresh brake line, especially for these long pieces that go over the hump of the firewall or to the passenger side. If you don't want to spend the money to do that, you will just have to do some massaging and take your time getting those lines under there, because otherwise you'll be making everything look kind of janky, if that's a word to describe it. But that's how it was actually frustrating to get that under there at first, but then after I removed the lines and a few times just started making little bends here and there to make it go under that spot, and then your harness will help hold them up there. And of course I use some wire ties just to kind of secure everything. I think it turned out really well. I'm not sure if it's going to show up as well here on camera. But yeah, everything's turning out really well here. So this is pretty much everything you're going to see wire-wise, except for up there that goes on the engine and through the distributor, fuel injection, all that stuff. Pretty much everything you're going to see is just the windshield wiper, motor, the vacuum hose T, and your map sensor. Everything else is going to be hidden under. The engine's going to pop right in here. There's going to be no wires running up through here or here. I am going to have a power pipe, as I mentioned in the last video. So we still have the hole saw, a 4-inch hole over here. Yeah, pretty excited how this all came about. And again, this was just taking your time and going through each and everything. I labeled everything. I like to kind of remember where things are going, so I labeled everything so I knew exactly where stuff was supposed to be going. So I didn't have to start untucking everything just to fish more wires through later. So I couldn't be more pleased. So the engine bay is pretty much finished. Moving on to the next step, we need to fill this up with brake fluid and start checking to make sure the lines don't leak and bleed all the bleed all the brakes again. Tongue twister there. As you can see here, Started mounting everything up. This is starting to get more permanent. I still got to replace this. I still want to replace this with the Motorcraft unit, but I'm starting to figure out all the wires and stuff here to the positive side, and then of course I still got to get a starter cable. Got to get a longer one. I'm not sure the factory one's going to reach, but yeah, everything else seems to be going in place. There's my motor that's going back in it. So yeah, just a little update here that all your factory brake lines will work with this. If I were to do it all over again, though, I would buy new, just because it'd be easier to just bend new lines instead of having to mess with the old ones. But it will work if you just take your time with it. So that's just an update video. The next time I probably do a video, you'll probably see the motor back in this thing, and so you'll get a better glimpse of what it's going to look like once it's finished. So until then, y'all take care.